Well, I was training for the Olympics in 1980, and I was in New Zealand, and I was invited to run a race in New Zealand. And Dave Moorcroft and I went to run this race in Auckland, and it ran along the seafront and from the city to the beach. And I said to Dave when I finished, "This is a great event." What made me think it was a great event was at the start there were 10,000 people there. We'd never seen in this country. The biggest event in this country was 1,300 runners for the national cross country. We used to think that was great.
Yeah.
Then I saw this race. I was standing with Dave Moorcroft, and this bloke came on the rostrum announcing, we're about ready to start. I'm going to bang the gun and all that. And we said, "Who's that?" And they said, "Oh, that's the Prime Minister, Robert Muldoon, New Zealand." And I just remember thinking, this must be a big deal. The Prime Minister's here. We never had the Prime Minister at any of our events. So from then, and the experience on the run was brilliant. And I said to Dave Moorcroft, when I get back home, I'm going to organise an event like this in the northeast of England, in Newcastle. So when I got back after the Olympics, it was a normal training night. I invited the boys, invited John. Let's go and have a beer. We've got this idea. And then the idea was organise a fun run from Newcastle, from starting in Newcastle, and based on the idea of running to the seaside. And then I was finished with it after that.
Oh, well, that wasn't quite right. We had to start in Newcastle and had to go over the Tyne Bridge. They were the only parameters you set. We didn't know how far it was going to be, where it was going to finish, whether it was going to come back. And it was like, "John, go and have a look." And I drove from the Gateshead side over into Newcastle and down to the coast road to Whitley Bay and Tynemouth. I drove the other way from Newcastle into Gateshead, down towards Hebburn and Jarrow and South Shields, trying to find out. And 10 miles was sort of a decent distance, and 10 miles ended up in a housing estate somewhere, which wouldn't have made a good finish. So we just kept driving till we got to the coast, and it was about sort of 12 and a half miles, and it was fantastic on the lees at South Shields.
I was just listening to these stories. I wasn't there.
It was an amazing area to finish near there on Bents Park. So instead of measuring from a nominal start line, which was the Tyne Bridge expansion joint, right across the road, we then reversed it and drove from the finish back to Newcastle. It was 12 miles when we got to the Tyne Bridge, which is a nothing distance. So just kept going up the Central Motorway until it came to 13 miles, and it was a half marathon. I think that's pretty much how it was evolved.
I think actually that is I think the moral of the story is you have take a concept, and then you give a few briefs on the side of the concept and say, "Okay, I'll tell you what, here's the concept." John, go and do that, will you?
Mm-hmm.